thrilled to be here today. It is an amazing day because we get to talk about the most amazing subject there is, and that is education. I think one of the reasons it becomes tough sometimes to recruit and retain the younger teachers is because intrinsic rewards are kind of like a good investment. You don't just get a return immediately when you start. And so a lot of times these younger teachers don't see the things that someone like I have been blessed to see in my career, and that start coming back more and more and more as my career. So that makes my career get better instead of worse. It doesn't burn out, it makes me more excited. It makes me more enthusiastic because I'm receiving these intrinsic rewards if people could just see that. And so what I would like to do is I'd like to share an example, just one, of my personal experience, a story of a young man that I taught. It's been 10 or 12 years ago now. And I called him. I said, can I use your name and can I use your story? Because I'm going to name you. And he said, I'd be honored if you did. So his name's Garrett. And Garrett was in my 10th grade biology class. And his mother and I went to school together, graduated together. We're good friends. The families are friends. So we had a great relationship. And Garrett would come by my class and just hang out. You know, we talked baseball, we talked sports, we'd do things together. But about his sophomore year, I saw Garrett start to make some decisions that weren't the best decisions that he could make. And every one of you, if you've taught for very long, have seen that happen with kids. And he's at that point in his life where he's trying to decide who he's going to be and what he's going to do. Well, he kept making worse and worse decisions. And it's one of those things, you know, as a teacher, you can only do so much. And the most thing that you can do is be there, talk to him about it. But it didn't get better. You know, I wish I could tell you everything was great and he graduated and all that kind of stuff was fantastic, but it didn't work that way. And I kind of lost track of Garrett as he graduated and went off, and I didn't hear from him for a while. And a little while later on, maybe a year or two later, I get a call from his mom one evening. It says, John, would you mind to go visit with Garrett? He's down here at the jail. He's going to be in there for a while and he needs somebody to talk to. I said, Kim, I'd love to. I'll go down and visit with him. So over the next few weeks, I'd go down and I'd visit with Garrett and we'd share. And it wasn't one of those deals where he was belligerent or angry or trying to make a point. He was just struggling. He was having a hard time and things weren't going well. And so we visited and he'd take the instruction. He'd say, Coach, I'm struggling. I'm having a hard time. I said, Garrett, you're going to get there. And so we'd visit. Well, eventually he got out, and there was a man there in town who hired him and gave him a job, a construction job. And while he's doing this job, I would still go see him on the job site at lunchtime, sometimes in the evening. We'd just sit down on the ground and we'd talk. And he's still struggling, but he's still trying, and he's still wanting to get it right and things, you know, but they're not going very well. But we're working on it. Well, over time, I lost track of Garrett. He moved off and left town, and I didn't see him anymore. And I don't think I talked to Garrett for 4 or 5 years. December 2015, I opened up my phone one morning and there's a message on Messenger, and it's from Garrett. It's Mr. Hazell. I'm in Durango, Colorado. And he said, I met this girl. We've been seeing each other for a couple of years. And he says, I love her to death. She's got 2 little boys. And I said, I love the little boys. He said, I want you to know that I'm doing great. And we're both working on getting our own business. And and he tells me this story about their life. And it's kind of as an afterthought at the end. He tags on, he says, oh yeah, we're going to get married this summer. He said, would you think about coming to Durango, Colorado and doing my wedding? I said, Garrett, I would be absolutely honored to do your wedding. So this last summer, my wife and I drove to Durango, Colorado, and I married Garrett and Priscilla. And they have 2 young boys, and they are doing absolutely awesome. Their life is where it ought to be. The boys are doing great. Their careers are doing great. And they're doing everything that you would hope that your child could do when they grow up and graduate from high school one day. And I have probably performed more weddings for former students of mine than I can remember. But that's the best. That one will be the one that I always remember. And the amazing thing about that as a teacher is this. You could sit here, and we could sit here, and I could tell you stories all day long, just like that, heartwarming stories. But the cool thing about being a teacher is that you don't have to sit around and let somebody else tell you all these heartwarming, life-changing stories. Because if you're a teacher, that's what your life becomes. It becomes a continual experience of life-changing, heartwarming stories. As these kids come back to you and tell you, you did this for me and you didn't even know it, and you made this change and you made me feel this way and you did, and that's the intrinsic rewards that come. Somebody told me one time, a friend gave me a phrase, he said, you know, you can count all the seeds in an apple, but you'll never be able to count all the apples in a seed. And teachers can never count all the apples that grow from the seeds that they plant. But the longer you go and the more you teach, I can tell you from personal experience, they come back more and more and more. And it blesses you and it fills your heart, and that's worth more than money can't pay for those things. So I'll close with this. If anybody would ever come to you and say, why would you want to be a teacher? My question would be, why would you not want to be a teacher? If you want your life to matter, if you want it to have an eternal impact, if you want to see kids' lives changed for the better and even their families right in front of your eyes, it's the best job that you could ever have. Thank you.